Previously on Gears.
Listen, I'm very, very excited about this. 2:20 South African time, and a lady that I've been following on Twitter. Some people call it stalking. I just call it following. But she has a fantastic interest in Formula One. She's from Atlanta in Georgia, where they play the Masters.
The Masters.
The Masters are in Georgia. Her name is one of my favorite super characters, love interest. Lois
Lane. It's 7:23, by the way, so she's got a cup of coffee now.
Oh, she got a cup of coffee. Lois Martin joining us here on Balls Visual Radio. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, and I should say, I guess, good evening to you there. But it's wonderful to be with you. Thank you.
Lois, it's not the evening yet. It's 2:20.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, then.
Yes. So, I mean, listen, I've been fascinated watching you. You very much in the marketing kind of world.
That's right. And I have worked some in, and currently work some in motorsports marketing, particularly advising young drivers and helping them set up in social media to begin to build followings that make them appealing to sponsors.
That is, that's incredible. I mean, where does your love for motor racing, and let's start motor racing before Formula One. Where does your love for motor racing come from?
It's really interesting that for years I've really followed it on my own. I fell in love with Formula One back in the days when Mario Andretti was racing. So as a young teenager, and then have maintained the interest through the years. I'm the only one in my family that follows motor racing, and it really wasn't until I got involved with social media that I began to connect with friends, make friends in the motorsports world.
Well, listen.
So it's been pretty much my own passion through the years.
Well, listen. At least we know there's one bright person in your family. Lois, so love of Formula One, as you say, Mario Andretti. But I mean, Formula One, unfortunately, been very starved in the United States. But it seems to be coming back. First of all, from a television point of view, and now with what we all hope will be the spectacular circuit in Austin, Texas.
That's right. It's really interesting. I know everyone is following the change from the broadcast of Formula One here in the States from the Speed Network, as it's known now, to NBC and NBC Sports. I think everyone's familiar with NBC. It's one of the main networks here in the country. And the appeal there, while I would hate to see the current broadcasting team go, and the same time, the appeal is that it's going to potentially reach a much larger audience. And the races will be broadcast between the main NBC network and NBC Sports.
Which is, I think it's great news for the American public in general. Lois, are you, by any chance, are you making your way up to Texas this weekend?
No, I will not be there, but we're hosting a watch party and a good old-fashioned Texas barbecue to celebrate, and we've invited a number of friends to join us, so looking forward to that. Is
it pretty cold where you are at the moment in Atlanta?
It is rather chilly this morning, and I understand that the forecast for Austin is going to be chilly but sunny throughout the weekend.
Oh, well, that's good news. At least a dry race. You, Lois, I mean, I've been following, what you've been tweeting about as well. I mean, you've been also very proactive in helping spread the word of the Circuit of Americas. It looks to be a sensational circuit.
It really does. I am so excited to see it. I think everyone is. My only concern for the weekend is the transportation plan they put in place, because there's only one narrow road, two-lane road, in and out of the circuit.
It's true.
So they're planning a shuttle bus system, running buses from some central key parking areas, both in the Austin area and also in nearby San Antonio. Just keep your fingers crossed for that. We don't need Silverstone all over again.
Well, you see, that's why I'm glad you brought this up, because it seems to be a massive. What is the word? I mean, it's like an afterthought. They thought, oh, well, how's everyone going to get here? Do the American public, are they appreciative or forthcoming when it comes to getting on a shuttle and being bussed in and about for kind of concerts or Grand Prix?
I think they are. It's interesting. I don't follow NASCAR very closely, but I understand that some of the NASCAR venues have similar systems where there's very limited parking on site and shuttles are run. I think Americans can handle it. I'm not sure that international fans are going to be so keen on hopping on buses, but it's really interesting. They're planning to, eventually, over the next couple of years, widen that road to 2 lanes. Now, from 2 lanes to 4 lanes, whether that means additional on-site parking remains to be seen.
Well, listen, I mean, we all sitting and going, oh, well, traffic's going to be a nightmare, there's not enough parking. But I think the great thing about it is that the American public seems to have really warmed to this Grand Prix, and they got a sold-out crowd. Were the tickets expensive? Do you know anything about that?
The tickets were in some cases were extremely expensive initially. If I can explain something very quickly. A number of the organizers and managers of Circuit of the Americas come from a background of professional football, American football, that is.
Okay, yeah.
Where many professional stadiums require personal seat licenses. In other words, you buy the right to a particular seat or particular area of seating, and then you pay for your tickets on top of that. They attempted to do that. I don't know why. That baffles everybody. How do you have an international sports venue with personal seat licenses?
Yeah, very, very strange.
But they eventually, from what I understand, did away with that. The tickets were general admission in the low 100s and up, so they were quite expensive.
Yeah, I mean, which is the norm when it comes to the world of Formula One. But, one would have thought maybe they would have tried and give a little discount to get people excited about it again. But it looks as though it has the makings of a great weekend and the return of Formula One back to the US. Lois, final one. Wait, Ian wants to ask a question.
I just want to ask, hi Lois, it's Ian here, I'm sitting opposite Sasha. I just want to know about the fiasco last time, because, I mean, the last time there was a Grand Prix in the States, there was the whole thing with the tires, and it was just you ended up with a few cars on the track. People had paid good money to go and see the Formula One. It was a big song and dance about it coming back to America. It was massively promoted. Everyone was excited, and then there was that complete flop. Is it not a case of people now going, well, could that happen again? Are the American public in Texas this weekend not going to go, well, not so sure if I'm going to go?
I think that is, while that looms in our memories, I don't think that is an issue at all now. I think people are excited. I think you've got not only a U.S.-based crowd there this weekend, but you've got a really strong international crowd. Quite a few from Mexico, from Central and South America. Austin's going to be a great central location to attract Mexican fans. I just don't see it. I haven't heard any wind of that, any rumor of it, and I think those of us here in the States have done the best we can to shove that back in our memories.
Sure.
That was just such an odd
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
event.
it was a disaster.
I'll share very, very quickly that after Senna was killed I lost interest in Formula One for a number of years and just followed it sporadically. And so I more heard about the race in 2005 in the media rather than seeing it play out live and exactly what happened. I really didn't start following Formula One again until 2008. And so what I read, that has got to be one of the most mysterious and baffling events in Formula One history.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I had to commentate on that, and I wasn't a very popular person. it wasn't a lot of fun.
I was going to turn the question back to you and ask you how you you managed.
It was a very tough weekend. Let's put it that way. Lois, final one. I mean, the championship is Alonso versus Vettel. We don't really know much about the circuit, but do you reckon this could be the decider? What do you tip to win this weekend, or who do you tip?
If I had to choose, I think it's a great unknown to everybody. I put it as a Red Bull weekend. I look for Vettel to win it. I'm cheering for Webber to win it. I tease with friends that I've always considered him the cowboy, so he should get the win in Austin. I wouldn't be surprised though if Alonso stays in the mix and we go to Brazil to decide it.
Well, listen, I think we're in for a great weekend. It's wonderful to have Formula One back in the United States, and it's great to chat to you finally after all of this time, and I do hope that we do chat again regularly.
Well, thank you all, and thank you so much. I appreciate your online friendship and the invitation to be a part, and my best to all of you and to your listeners.
Thank you very, very much. There we go. Lois Martin, how's that accent? Isn't that
wonderful.
a beautiful accent?
And the fact that she got up at 23 minutes past 7 to come and talk Formula One.
I think that is awesome. So, of course, tomorrow will be a lot of focus on the Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix. But great to catch up with Lois Martin from Atlanta in Georgia about this weekend's United States Grand Prix.
At the next intersection, turn on
Gears with Sasha Martinengo.
weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Central African Time.